All right, guys, Happy New Year. I'm always like 2 or 3 days late. I'm on CP time when it comes to putting up videos for like holidays and stuff like that. But you know what? Better late than never. So anyway, some of you guys know what CP time is, or PC time. Others don't. You can take a trip to Urban Dictionary to find out if you're curious. But anyway. Yeah, so the elite have activated Oprah to push their vaccines. Big surprise, right? Which, well, okay, first of all, let me give y'all the skinny what's going on. So she's doing a tour to like 8 or 9 cities around the U.S., pushing, a health tour, because obviously she's the picture of health. But do as I say, not as I do, pretty much. Yeah, Oprah. Okay. So anyway, she's going around to these cities and pushing like, a health tour, but pushing the flu vaccine and the pneumonia vaccine. And she was on Ellen talking about like how she almost died of pneumonia. Plus, first of all, I'm like, really, Oprah, you almost died of pneumonia? If Oprah was on the verge of death, like, we would have heard about that shit. Like, people would be tweeting about it. Pray for Oprah. Pray for big Oprah. It would have been all over the place, okay? So if she was like, about to die, people would have known about it. So all of a sudden she just comes out of the woodwork and she's like, oh, I almost died of pneumonia, y'all. Like, take your flu shots, get your flu shots, get your pneumonia shots. Ain't nothing to play with. And everybody was like, yay! And Ella was like, yeah. Yeah, because, I don't know if you guys know, but Ella's never been vaccinated. She's been on video saying she's never been vaccinated. She's never had any medicine. And Ellen is great. Ellen's great. She's in great shape. So Ellen probably is not going to take that shit. She's probably like, yeah, Oprah, you take that shit. I ain't taking shit. Or they'll do something like a publicity stunt where they get Ellen like a fake vaccine. Where there was some official in Canada, not too long ago. I think it was Canada. I don't remember exactly, so don't quote me on this, but maybe you guys can find the video. But anyway, they went on tape on video, and to get a flu shot, and then the cameraman zoomed up and you can see that there's no syringe in the needle. And then you have people like Dr. Oz saying like, I'm gonna get it, but my wife is not gonna vaccinate our kids because at home I'm Mr. Oz, I'm not Dr. Oz. I'm like, really, Dr. Oz, you're telling us to get this shit and you don't vaccinate your own kids? Yeah, like, I believe you're gonna get it too. You're full of shit. So I'm just like, this is gonna be very interesting. I can't wait for it to blow up in her face, because even people that are pro-vaccine or consider themselves pro-vaccine, they won't even get the flu shot unless they're like hardcore, extreme pro-vaccine extremists. But people that are just, kind of like, yeah, vaccines are good, like, you should get them. Like, they're like, yeah, I don't get the flu shot. Even one of my friends, if she watches this video, I've told her she knows my stance on vaccines. She's a wonderful, amazing mom, so I'm not like dogging her parenting at all. But I know how she is, and she's probably like, yeah, like, you guys get your vaccines, but don't tell Virstyne, okay? Like, I know her. I've known her since I was 10. I know she operates. But she even confessed to me that she does not even get the flu shot because, or she doesn't give her kids the flu shot because she saw that her sister's kids are always sick. And I guess her and her sister were somewhere with her kids, and they called her. They're like, hey, we're stopping by the pharmacy to get a flu shot. Do you want to get the kids one? She's like, no. And she was like, I noticed her kids always get the flu shot and they're always sick, like all year round, they're always sick. She's like, something's up with that. Even her, okay? I debated this lady named Dr. Mayat on a channel a few weeks ago before the vaccine debate that I had in New York. And somebody called in and asked her about that. She was like, she's hardcore pro-vaccine. She doesn't even get the flu shot, okay? Like, people know something is up with the flu shot, okay? Fun facts about the flu shot. First of all, they guessed the strain. So, oh God, where I begin? First of all, the science, okay, let me back up even more. The science around the flu shot is very faulty because they say, well, about all vaccines, because they base it on a model for antibodies. And they say that, you get the vaccine, it makes antibodies in your system to protect you from the pathogen. But what they don't tell you is that the T cells, the antibodies don't come in until after you're infected. So the T cells can't get into your cells. Infections can get into your cells. The T cells come after, and they bind to the antigens or the pathogens after infection has occurred in your body. I hope that makes sense. Maybe I'll do a more in-depth video, or I'll do like a diagram or something. I'm just, mentioning this in passing. So this the whole science, is based on a model that it's like 100 years ago, and things have evolved and they found out more things about the immune system. It doesn't even matter. Like, it's such bullshit. Okay. So taking that into account, number two, they guessed the strain. Okay. So according to this fake phony ass model that they have for protecting your body from infections by calling in antigens that don't come in until after you're already infected, they guess the strain. They don't have any scientific method by way of doing this. They just guess, because obviously, I guess they're psychic, and they have to make enough vaccines for the end of the year, so they just guess the strain that's going to be circulating. And according to their science, for like at least 4 years now, they've guessed the wrong strain. So it doesn't even work according to them. It doesn't even work against protecting you against the flu that you're supposed to get, or that's supposed to be circulating. Okay. Number three, there was that scientist, not William Thompson, but another guy. He's a black guy. He was in the military. He was a highly decorated officer, a scientist that was doing research on the flu vaccine, or some kind of, he was working at the CDC and found out some stuff. He disappeared. Okay. On his way home, he disappeared. And then they found him a few months later dead, and they said that he killed himself. But before that, his relatives and people that he knew were saying he was freaking out. He was calling them, saying somebody's after me. He was found like dead in the river, and he killed himself. Yeah, it sounds really suspicious. Sounds like he was suicided. He found out something. There's also something you guys might want to check out, which you might find interesting. Called, if you Google like David Dees, D-I-V-I-D, DEES, dead microbiologist. He has put together a compilation of, and this has nothing to do with all of the healthcare practitioners that were found dead. It's a totally separate thing. I think some of that is kind of shady because of the way that the lady did her research, but I'm not going to go into that today. Anyway, but dead microbiologists, a lot of these people were researching certain things about vaccines, ended up dead, right? And he was collecting his own. This was like years before even like this whole thing with the Health Nut News came out with all the, anyway. So, I mean, you have that going on. What else? It's just funny because Oprah was like, talking about like, getting the vaccines, and she's going to be like, and you get a vaccine, and you get a vaccine, and everybody, and look under your seat, everybody vaccines. And people are like, yay, Oprah, vaccines, free vaccines. Like, it's such bullshit. What else? Oh, another thing, another fun fact for you guys. So you guys, if you watch this channel regularly, or if you're on the vaccine tip, that you cannot sue the pharmaceutical industry in the United States. Now, in other countries have different laws. Some countries can sue the pharmaceutical industry. Right now, there's a lawsuit going on against Merck for the Gardasil vaccine in Japan. They just started another one in Colombia. I know Denmark did a documentary on the Gardasil vaccine. I don't know if they're going to sue, but as far as I know, there are two big class action suits now going on in Colombia and Merck. Okay, that's a side note. But in United States, what happens is every vaccine gets a 75-cent tax that's put into a fund, and from that money, they take it and they pay the people that are injured. And what's messed up about the court, A, is a lot of people don't even make the connection that when they got sick or injured until it's too late, because you have a certain amount of time to file. Okay. B, it's really hard for you to get a doctor to vouch for you because they're brainwashed and they won't even admit that it's the vaccine. C, it's not in a court where there's a judge and a jury and a trial. It's like a mediation room where basically people still decide whether, it's not, you're not really allowed to present all evidence. It's not like it's a kangaroo court pretty much. And then C, most people win for the flu shot. And there's a law firm that takes on a lot of these cases that list their cases. I'll put this in the links later, I'm probably gonna upload this video first so you can, later on this evening, I'll put the links up. But you can't, yeah, so they usually win for the flu shot. And people like, you know, things like death, Guillain-Barré, which leaves you paralyzed, can leave you, it's pretty much like polio, transverse myelitis, where you erodes your spinal cord and you can't walk. I mean, terrible. A Shurva, where, you know, if they get in the arm, it messes your arm up and your arm is like messed up for life. So, I mean, all of these horrible things where I'm just like, well, damn, I'd rather just have the flu. Like, I think I'm okay with the flu instead of being paralyzed or not being able to breathe on my own or having an arm that doesn't work anymore. Yeah, just give me the flu. Flu shots, right? Really good flu shots. Vitamin C, ascorbic acid. What is that? Elderberry syrup. You know, vitamin A and C, y'all. Drink a lot of water. Cut out the sugar. But I'm not a doctor. I can't give you advice. Don't listen to me. It's just that I've done this for almost over, oh, I should say for over 10 years, and I have not gotten the flu. I stopped taking my flu shot, and I did all this other shit. Like, you know, have a healthy immune system and cut out the junk food and meditate so I don't, you know, I watch my stress levels. Stress also gets you sick because it releases cortisol in your body. But don't trust me, I'm not a doctor. So, another thing, I remember I used to get the flu shot and I always get the flu. And I remember they'd put this fucking bullshit Jedi mind trick and they would say, oh, but you didn't really get the flu. I'm like, yeah, because I really called in sick. I was really puking my guts out. I really had a fever, really had a headache. Yeah, I ain't taking the flu shot. And I think one of the last times I remember taking the flu shot was I got the flu and then it triggered my asthma and an asthma attack and I almost died, okay? But at the time, I didn't really make the connection whether it was a vaccine or not. I was just thinking about this the other day because I remember right after that, I was like, I'm not taking the flu shot anymore, but I didn't tell anybody because every year, first of all, they would say, oh, immunocompromised individuals can't get vaccines. And then they changed it to like, yeah, if you're immunocompromised, because having being asthmatic, having, you know, lots of allergies, stuff really bad, you're immunocompromised because your immune system is very, you know, weak. And, you know, so my family members, my uncle, my cousin, my mom, they would call me every year and they'd be like, did you get your flu shot? Get your flu shot. You know, you need to get it because they say that, you know, asthmatics should get them, you know, they're the most vulnerable. And, I was like, all right, you're right, you know. And then, so one year I remember I came in for Christmas and I woke up in the middle of the night and my chest was tight and I reached for my inhaler and I had a full inhaler. My inhaler was working, but it was working, you know, mechanically, but I used it and it wasn't working on my body. It was not giving me relief. And I start freaking out. And I was like, I woke up, my mom was like, I can't breathe. And it was funny because I didn't have a car. My mom didn't have a car. There was no Uber. There was no Lyft. There was no, like, you know, it was in LA. The buses stopped running. So I remember we had to call my cousin. I think she had like a Datsun or something. And in the middle of the night to come and get me, to drive me to the hospital. And I'm like crawling on the floor. I cannot walk. It was like that scene in The Hand That Rocks the Cradle where she's about to, like, that was me, but a black woman in fucking like South Central on the floor, you know, about to die because I could not fucking breathe. And then driving me to the hospital, and I'm thinking, oh my God, am I gonna go out like this? I'm gonna go out in Kaiser Permanente. I was like, God, this is fucked up. I do not want to die in this hospital. And then my mom, like, I get there, and then my mom starts screaming, and she's like, Lord Jesus, please don't take my baby, don't take my child. And I'm just like, oh my God, I was so scared and so embarrassed at the same time. My mom totally turned into one of those black moms on like ER or like Grey's Anatomy or one of those shows. It was just so embarrassing. And she started screaming and crying. I thought I was gonna fucking die. Like, I was like, this is it. This is how I'm going out. This is so fucked up. Long story short, I'm alive. I did not die, but I took the flu shot before that, and I'm like, fuck the flu shot now. I'm not going to take that shit anymore. They put me full of steroids, that's a whole nother video about how they erode your joints and fuck you up and give you heart issues. Like, I have an inhaler. I pretty much have been able to get off of it. I still need it every once in a while, but not as often as I used to. And my main goal is to be asthma free and get off this shit. Because I mean, it's bad. It's bad for you all around. But yeah, they pump you full of this stuff, and it makes you like jittery. And I felt like my bones are gonna break. But I was just like, I remember they put the oxygen mask on you, and I hate that shit because it doesn't even. I'm like, what? Like, it doesn't even do anything. Like, why? I couldn't even breathe in it. It was like, it was awful. It was fucking awful. But I had the flu shot. Didn't help me. Probably made me sicker than I was, or, would have been. Not doing that shit anymore. And then a couple weeks ago, my mom confessed to me and I had a great aunt were like, we were kind of like, on my mom's side, the sickest ones in the family. They were always sick, always had allergies, always had asthma attacks. She had asthma. And she's dead now, rest her soul. She's a wonderful woman. But my mom was telling me that she confessed to her that she had stopped taking the flu shot too before she died because she kept getting sick. She stopped taking the flu. Meanwhile, I have my uncle that's always sick. He always gets the flu shot. And then I remember last time I visited him, he was sick, and he's like, oh, I'm sick, I need to get the flu shot. I was like, no, you don't need to. You're already sick. You can't get vaccines when you're sick, and you're not supposed to do that. And then he's like, all right, so you didn't get the vaccine. And then later he's like, okay, I'm going to wait till I'm better, and then I'm going to get the flu shot. I'm like, and he's still sick. He's always sick. I don't think he's stopped being sick since, like, last time I saw him. He's always sick. So use your common sense. This is great. Oh, and by the way, the wonderful, amazing Josh Coleman, he's the guy that created the V for Vaccine campaign. He's the one that confronted Jimmy Kimmel in a very, very diplomatic way. He sets up a lot of peaceful protests in a very creative, artistic way and educates people about the dangers of vaccines. He's actually countering Oprah's tour. So anywhere she goes, he's going to be there with his people and his education crew, educating people. So I will leave a link to that too. And I will, what was I going to say? I'll leave a link to that too, so people could follow him. If you're in the city where he's going to be at, go out and support him. He sells these amazing signs. He did something where I think when you have certain signs, they're only allowed to be a certain font. So he figured out the proportions exactly, and they look beautiful. They're beautifully proportioned. They're really nice looking. He'll dress up in characters, and has other people dress up like characters. They'll do the V for Vendetta mask, or they'll dress up, according to what event they're going to. And he's doing a great job. So I'm always talking about, if somebody's doing an awesome job, I always try and give them a shout out, promote them. And yeah, I guess that's it. So, yeah, and y'all taking the flu shot? I don't know. All right, guys, that's it. That is my New Year's, hello. 2020 is going to be a really interesting year. I can feel it. This is election year. I just read the paper that Castro just dropped out. And I bet you that bitch Hillary's gonna make a comeback. They cloned her ass. She got a clone, or they like switched her body out or something. They took out her brain tumors. She's gonna come back and be like, I'm running, but nobody likes her. I don't know. So she's gonna try and cheat her way again. She's gonna lose again. And it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be an entertaining year. I'm just gonna tell you that. I got my coffee. No. Oh, it is coffee. I don't really drink coffee, but I'm just really tired today. I'm trying to find other coffee alternatives when I need it, but I'm not like I'm more of a tea drinker, and I don't want to get addicted to coffee. But anyway, I got hemp milk in here because I can't do dairy. But anyway, all right, y'all, that's it. Love you guys. Peace and love. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. Mwah.